There were 60 chairs set in rows, all facing the same direction. I chose one near the side, not the back. Close enough to hear clearly. Far enough to avoid being part of anything. Most of them were older. Not all, but enough that a rune carried a certain weight, shared history, long memory. Quiet agreement on what things meant. My father stood at the front, just off the podium, waiting to be introduced. He looked the same as always. Composed. Certain. The kind of man people listen to without needing to be told why. I hadn't seen him in almost a year. He didn't look at me when he stepped up. I'm ashamed to say my daughter was separated for cowardice under fire. He didn't rush it. Let the words settle. Let them become the version of me that would stay in the room after I left. There was no reaction at first. Just stillness. Then a few small shift. Someone adjusting in their chair, another crossing their arms. Not rejection. Not yet. Just acceptance. Foreman. I kept my eyes forward. There are moments when correcting someone feels like giving them more space than they deserve. This was one of them. He continued, steady. Explaining just enough to sound informed without offering anything that could be questioned. No timeline. Just a conclusion. I could feel the room organizing itself around it. Cowardice is easy to understand. It doesn't need explanation. That was the point. I didn't look at him. Instead, I looked toward the edge of the DAIS. He was standing there, slightly apart from the others. The keynote speaker. You could tell before noticing anything specific. The way people gave him space without meaning to. Then the details came into focus. The cane. Not decorative. Functional. The way his weight shifted, not cautious. Just measured. Burn scars along his neck, uneven and permanent. His left hand resting against his side. 2 fingers missing. He wasn't looking at my father. He was looking at me. Not questioning. Recognizing. I held that for a second, then looked away. Memory doesn't arrive clean, it comes in fragments. Heat first, then sound, then the feeling of something collapsing that shouldn't. The air had been wrong, too sharp, too fast. Someone shouting. But not words I could place. And then wait, not his. I remember thinking, briefly, that I couldn't move him. Not because I wasn't strong enough. Because everything around us was still moving. Then I did anyway. 40 meters isn't far on paper. It's longer when the ground doesn't stay still. My father was still speaking. And sometimes we have to accept that not everyone is built for those moments. There was a quiet agreement in the room now. Not vocal, just settled. I kept my hands still in my lap. The keynote speaker shifted. It wasn't dramatic, just a step forward, then another. Enough that people started noticing. My father paused, just slightly, adjusting to the change without acknowledging it. The speaker didn't interrupt immediately. He waited until the room's attention moved on its own. Then he spoke. I was there. No introduction, no build-up. Just 4 words. The room changed. Not loudly. But completely. My father turned toward him, expression controlled but no longer fixed. The speaker didn't look at him. He kept his eyes forward. I don't remember everything, he said. Most of it isn't clear. His voice was steady, not emotional, not distant, just accurate. But I remember being moved. A pause. 40 meters, give or take. No one shifted now. No one moved. He adjusted his grip on the cane slightly. I remember thinking whoever was dragging me didn't know if I was still alive. Another pause. They didn't stop. He didn't say my name. Didn't need to. The room had already started recalculating. My father didn't speak. For the first time since he'd taken the podium, he had nothing prepared. The speaker continued. Quieter now. Separation doesn't always mean what people think it does. That was it. No correctization, just context. He stepped back. The room didn't return to what it had been. It couldn't. The certainty was gone. Not replaced with admiration. Just removed. I stayed where I was. No one turned to look at me immediately. That would have been too simple. Instead, there was a kind of hesitation in the air. Like people weren't sure which version of me they had already accepted. My father stepped away from the podium. He didn't look at me. I didn't expect him to. There are things that don't get addressed in the moment they break. They just remain. After it ended, people came up to the speaker. Not to me. That made sense. He had given them something they understood. I had just been corrected. I walked out before anyone decided what to say. Outside the air was cooler. Quieter. He was already there. Leaning slightly on the cane, the same way he had inside. You made it farther than I thought, he said. Not a compliment, just observation. I didn't know you'd be here, I replied. Neither did I. We stood there for a moment, no need to fill it. You could have said more, I said. He shook his head once. They heard enough. I nodded. He wasn't wrong. Recognition isn't loud as in wrong at once, it just adjusts things. Inside. My father was still there. Among people who now had to reconsider something they'd accepted too easily. I didn't go back in. Whatever had shifted in that room, it didn't need me standing there to prove it. And whatever hadn't shifted, wouldn't, just because I stayed.